Hey guys, how's it going? It's me Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. So today, let's talk about hate speech! Just the other day, I got interviewed by this newspaper company here in Japan, and I can't share the details with you yet until it's published, but what I can tell you though is that we discussed hate speech, so that's where the inspiration of this video is coming from. So you guys often tell me that Japan is a homogeneous country and how Japan consists of Japanese people, but hey, there are Chinese and Korean people living here, and I mean Chinese people are everywhere in the world. That's what I often hear from the Western people. But so as I told you guys, leftists here are installing Black Lives Matter movement here in Japan, and I have the feeling that they know how to run the propaganda because they are used to doing KLM. KLM stands for Korean Lives Matter. It's not the official name, but it's something that my American friend, who is a US veteran, came up with, and I would say he's a specialist on East Asian issues, or maybe like Asian issues in general, but he's based in Thailand, and if you're curious, I think he's most active on Facebook. I'm gonna link it below. He has a Twitter account also, and he has Patreon, so you should definitely support him for your country. We share information all the time, and one of his posts lately pointed out that BLM is very much like KLM. So Black Lives Matter is based on white guilt. It's pretty much black supremacy, right? They also demonize the history of America and vandalize all the statues and so on. And in Japan, we had problems with South Koreans. Japan did annexation, so South Korea was part of Japan back in the day. There are Korean people that are bashing Japan historically based on war guilt, and then they ask for reparations and apologies, and they basically just keep bashing Japan in order to damage the trust that we have from all around the world, especially the US. In Japan, we have Yasukuni shrine where all the soldiers and all those who fought for our country, their souls go there. So like soldiers back in the day would say like, oh, let's meet in Yasukuni again. Just imagine like a church version of the Arlington Cemetery. So we get to meet our ancestors at the sacred shrine, and it's called Yasukuni. But those communists and their puppets are demonizing our shrine, and this South Korean guy even came to Japan and bombed the restroom of Yasukuni shrine. So our shrines are actually targets of our enemies. So just so you know, I don't want you guys to misunderstand that I'm not saying that South Koreans are enemies. I'm just saying that there are our enemies inside of South Korea, just like there are enemies inside of the US, you know what I mean? I stopped conflating a country. Like inside of one country there are lots of different people, and there are allies and there are enemies, so let's not get confused. But I'm just saying that there are people like that from South Korea. These South Koreans though, they are the puppets of North Korea and also China, so it's a political maneuver, you know? So what's common between BLM and KLM is that there's this guilt imprint, and then justification of vandalization, and the justification of like supremacy kind of demands. The human rights that they are claiming are nothing but the pretext of this political and intentional maneuver. And that was the premise. Because of the premise, there are right wings here in Japan that are harshly hating on Koreans in general. There are many different kinds of right wings, so again, I'm not gonna generalize, but there's this certain group of people in Japan. They want to protect Japan so much that they don't mind killing foreigners. That's the impression that we get. And the leftists here are so like cunning. They know how to fight. So what happens is that leftists conflate us. They attack people like me or conservatives in general, saying it that we are all right wings and we're all like evil-minded and so on. Clearly there are racist type of people here in Japan among the right side, and the leftists intentionally mix us up so that I get labeled as a right-wing. So by that, leftists can attack me, right? They even try to take down my YouTube channel as well. So that's what happens here. Of course, we shouldn't regulate our freedom of speech, and of course it concerns me. But in Japan, when we talk about hate speech, the target of the hate speech is meant to be foreigners, especially Koreans. Condition that I suggest is that it should be all tribes, all kinds of people, all races. If the left side want to regulate the hate speech against foreigners, then they should include the Japanese people as well, because it's just not fair. Just because we are born in this country as Japanese and we have all the rights because we're the majority and that this is our country, doesn't mean that we don't receive hate speech. We are constantly attacked by both Japanese and non-Japanese people, so we shouldn't be excluded. The same thing applies to the US. The US is of course the country of freedom, but it's just not fair, you know, especially seeing it from another country. Why is it okay for black people to attack on white people and white people cannot attack them back? If you only regulate white people, then that's just hatred, and that would mean black supremacy, and you have the right to speak your mind to begin with. But if not, if they try to regulate your speech, then we must bring the awareness that it's not fair, that all hate speech on any race should be forbidden. That's the only way to do it, I think. And this is such an important aspect to consider, but this is something I learned from my husband actually only after the interview, so I didn't get to include this aspect in the interview, but I hope that there will be a next time. And that's why I made this video. I wanted to put it out there. Oh, before I go, many people are moving on to Parler now. As I told you, I'm on Parler at Real Random Yoko, so follow me there if you haven't. We have to be ready for any type of situation, I think, so we should be on every platform, especially the ones that let you have the freedom of speech. At the same time though, I'll stay on Twitter as well, so follow me if you haven't at Random Yoko on Twitter. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. I'm on Patreon, so support me there if you can. Until next time, please take care and I will talk to you soon.